being that we only have 5 minutes, I want to make sure you can't ramble. If you do, I will politely cut you off.
You can cut me off.
There are many people who want to speak to you, constituents who want to hear from you. What do you have to say about the next town hall? When are you going to speak to them?
Well, we're looking at planning town halls right now, and we're putting together some projects that we're pretty excited to engage the community in a fashion where no other member of Congress has done in the past. So we're going to be very innovative and very inclusive of the constituency. Whether you supported me, whether you opposed me, whether you still support me, whether you now don't support me, there's going to be a place for everybody in this congressional office.
What about the voters who still feel misled, who haven't accepted your apology?
Well, I think that's hard to put a barometer, because the reality is we've been served a petition of 1,500 signatures, of which almost 400 of them were invalid or duplicate or fraudulent, because even Donald Trump apparently signed that petition. So it really takes away the validity of any concerted effort to prove a legitimate disapproval within the district when you're putting together this entire effort and then you give us a petition that's really poorly executed.
What about the 78% of voters within NY03 who have called for your resignation, expulsion?
So I didn't order any polls, and I can't discuss prudently on any polls. I don't know what
from Newsday and Siena.
Again, Newsday ordered their poll. They had their parameters, so I wasn't privy to it, so I can't really comment on a poll that I have no idea how it was commissioned.
Okay, and now what about the missing money?
I'm sorry, which missing money?
The $365,000.
Is that a new thing? I've never heard that figure
Came
before.
out earlier this week. Or the $705,000. I mean, pick
amazing.
your figure. What do you have to say to people?
I don't know about any missing money.
Or the $705,000.
Well, $705,000 were personal loans made from me to the campaign.
Where did it come from?
From my personal finances.
It was your money.
My money, 100% legitimately my money, originated from my business practices. So I continue to not understand why there's this enormous inquisition and inquiry into my business practices and the legitimacy of it. I've operated honestly and with no...
Will you show people?
Sure. I mean, I've made it very clear if the ethics committee comes looking.
What about me? I'd love to see.
Sure. Maybe we can do that on an off-the-record setting, and I have no problem opening the books to you.
What about the $199.99? Nancy Marks, I know you're no longer with her. She's no longer your treasurer. What kind of person, what kind of relationship did you have with her?
So I can't speak for what the fiduciary and the campaign did or didn't do. If there were errors committed, obviously these are now all being looked into, and no one more than me wants those rectified. If there's any discrepancy, I want those rectified. I'm the person of interest that would like them rectified immediately. So,
how do you spend $199.99?
So that's the interesting thing. I don't believe those were spent. I think these are either clerical errors or system errors that just need to be addressed. So I strongly can tell you that 199 were not charges, not to the best of my knowledge, at least not those many times. So my honest opinion is to think that there is some kind of technical issue there or clerical error.
What about a new treasurer?
We have a new treasurer. We've engaged a new firm.
Okay. And Speaker McCarthy, talk about some of your allies in Congress.
I have many allies in Congress, and we've done fantastic work together. I'm very excited that the moment we go back from being in recess, I'm going to be introducing some original bills, and I think that the district is going to appreciate them because they're really district-focused bills. So I look very much forward to being back in session.
Your last conversation with Speaker McCarthy, how was it?
Last conversation I had with him was when I went in there and I said, look, I don't want to give you a burden. I don't want to be a distraction for the conference. I just want to make sure that we can move forward. So I will recuse myself and reserve my seats in committees until, the ethics committee does its job. And then I'll just resume my position back in committees and we can go from there.
How will you be able to be productive not sitting on those two committees with people saying and voters saying you have a cloud over your head?
I've been productive. I'm one of the most dynamic lead shops in the Hill right now for freshmen. We're really cranking it out there. We're co-sponsoring legislation, and we're offering amendments, and we're creating original legislation and bringing it to the floor soon. So I'm pretty excited about my ledge work. I think it gives me more time to focus on legislation.
Have you heard from the federal government, the FEC, the FBI?
I have not been reached out by any regulatory agency personally, and my attorneys have received the complaints from the FEC. That's as much as a complaint as we received.
Are you going to run again?
I don't know yet.
That's fine.
I have some bonus questions.
We can do this again. I promise you.
What about high school? Did you go to high school?
Of course I went to high school, but I got a GED.
Okay,
Everybody
where'd you
knows that.
go? I know you went to IS 285.
I didn't go to 285. IS 125 was intermediate school.
Yes, what about that?
I did go there.
What about high school? Where'd you go?
Where did I go to high school?
Yeah.
I went to 2 different high schools. We'll save that for the next
So you'll
interview.
show me your GED, and I
Sure.
also want to see the 705
Sure.
on
Deal.
background. Thank you.
You bet.